In this speech, I will discuss the issues and negative effects of abortions. Abortions cause many problems. It is not just a murder of the fetus. It causes problems to the mother or whoever else is involved, the father, friends, family. I will discuss these main points being it is an act of murder, it causes tragedy, it affects the women emotionally and physically, and it damages relationships and families, and it violates civil rights. First, I will start with the subject of tendencies of murder. The moment of conception, a human is being formed in the mother's body. The DNA of the baby is not only human DNA, but it's DNA of both parents. In criminology, DNA is used to distinguish one person from another, so the DNA of an embryo indicates the embryo is a person. It is no different than killing a 20-year-old on the streets, just because it's a fetus, and it has no say. It's a still growing human. It has no say whether it lives or dies, but that does not mean that you can kill it. If you are a faith person, faith teaches us that murder is a grave sin, and that one who approves of anyone's murder and prompts murder also commits a grave sin. Second, we have the emotional and physical components. It is on the mother. Abortions and mental health disorders go hand in hand. Sometimes women suffer of depression, anxiety, post-abortion and stress disorder, eating disorders, social disorders, and suicidal thoughts and actions. After abortion, or it can be later, a couple years later even, for many women, it is the mental and emotional side effects that affect them the most. Mental health affects our body physically. If post-abortion woman is struggling mentally, there is a strong possibility that it is also affecting her physical health. Next, we have how it damages relationships and families that go through this trauma. Families have deaths. Every family has deaths, and they all grieve and they all deal with it, and it causes stress and emotional damage. And it can be the same with abortions. It should be the same with abortions. A family member is dying. A real life growing irreplaceable child is dead. This can cause tension, hatred, anger, and other emotions. Most women can convince the father or significant other to stay, but they leave after a while. Abortions are not the answer to a healthy, loving relationship. Lastly, that I want to touch on is how abortion affects the civil rights of the child. Civil rights are violated when people deprive of their basic rights. Unborn children are deprived of their life simply based on the location of where they are in the mother's womb, and their developmental status. It is discriminatory, inhuman, and cruel. Just because they are in a womb and they don't have the mental capacity to say, you can't murder me, and they're still growing, it's not right to kill them. A lot of courts and judges are trying to get it to where they say this isn't right, and women can actually get thrown in jail because of this, which is why it's illegal in a lot of places, but some places it's not. It is important to understand the basic negative aspects of abortions. We talked about how it is an act of murder. It compounds tragedy and affects women emotionally and physically. It damages the relationships of families and how it violates civil rights. I touched on these aspects because I believe that these are the most important parts to understand. I do not think abortions are right, and I hope that a lot of people don't. But I went with this because I feel like there are a lot of pro-life out there, and I hope that people understand that it is a murder. Just because this fetus doesn't have a life and it is still growing a mind, that we can just kill it. I don't see how that's right.